Taking a leap of faith is often easier said than done. Many of us, old a lot, have one day or another reached a crossroads in our lives where we look at our current situation and something deep inside prompts us to think about change. Now, what that is, what that thought, I mean, it could be money, it could be position, family or work, whatever it may be, often is the case that you might have to take what's called a leap of faith. Now, the man sitting opposite me has done just that. Dr. Mahmood Mawjee, assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much for the invite.
Absolute
pleasure to be here.
My pleasure to have you. I've had numerous conversations with you before. One conversation that we had 3 years ago has constantly been in my mind, and I put it into action 4 or 5 months ago, and it's changed my life. So I guess I wanted to kick off this conversation by asking, essentially, you also had a bit of a career change as well. Not going into the details of the history behind it, but what was the motivating factor that prompted your career change?
So for 14 years, I was a dentist, graduated in 2003 from Manchester, and I had a 7-year spell in dentistry, which I really enjoyed. And then after, something wasn't right. I just knew inside of me, there was more to me than what I was doing. And I was going to work every single day and I wasn't enjoying it. And it's that feeling inside of you. Do you know when you know you've got more in you?
Yeah.
Okay, you know you're going in every day and you know there's something more in you, but you don't know what that is. It was that feeling. And like the way I look at it is that feeling can do one of two things. You either suppress it and one day it comes back massive, or like it really eats you up and you got to do something about it. And for me, it came to a point where I started actually hating my career. I used to own my own clinics. So it wasn't I was working for someone else. I had my own clinics, I was earning well. Everything was good on the outside. Everyone thought, oh wow, this you've got everything.
Yeah.
But inside of me, I was going to work and I was hating. I was actually sometimes ending up at work crying, not wanting to go in, calling my wife and saying, do you know, I can't do this.
Wow.
I was very good at what I did.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I was wasting my time.
Right, and so that was one of the most the motivating. You wanted to have that change, and also, I can relate to that because there was there was about a year in my life where I was thinking, I've got more to give. That's that feeling. I've got. There's more to me than what I'm doing from a 9-to-5 perspective. So, what has been the most challenging aspect of firstly that change? Before we go into kind of running your own ventures, what was the most challenging aspect of taking that leap of faith? Because from my perspective, there's the security, financial security. There's the community. What are they going to think? Because I moved from, for example, corporate to a more Islamic background. What is the community going to think of me? So there's a lot that I had to think about. From your perspective, what was the most challenging aspects of making that change?
Great question. There were quite a few things. The first one was that everyone said you should be satisfied with what you have. You should be happy, you should be content.
Wow.
You're a dentist, you're earning a decent amount.
So
you should just be content. Why do you want more and more and more? And I used to sit there in my clinic and I used to kind of, clench my toes, and I used to say to Allah that, you know what, I'm so grateful for what you've given to me, but I know there's more in me. And by me wanting more, I'm not being ungrateful. But if I left this earth knowing, like I've always got this vision that, when we die, that Allah's going to show us this video of what life could have been like, what we could have been. Yeah. And it's like, imagine when Allah goes, you know what, you were meant to be this billionaire, you're meant to build so many orphanages, you're meant to build so many mosques, you're meant to do so much. But you didn't do any of it. And why? Because of what community said, society said, parents said, people said around you. And it's like, that was killing me. And for me, that was the biggest thing, ignoring the crowd and saying, do you know what, that's fine, but I know there's more in me. And it's not because I'm ungrateful, it's because I want more. And I understand that Allah's put me here to live my life once and to make the most of this. And if I stay where I am, like that ain't living. That ain't living. Allah won't be happy with me. So, whatever I got to do. So that was huge for me.
So you made that change, and then you had to kind of create your own business now. So from a technical perspective, so forget the theory in terms of how you were thinking and your feelings and your emotions, but actually from a technical perspective, you have to create your own business. Of course, that comes with financial insecurity, shall we say. There's a lot of fear that people who want to run their own business go through. So from your perspective, creating your own business now, what were the challenges that you faced then? How did you overcome them?
Biggest challenge is not knowing what is it. Like we all know there's more to us.
Yeah.
What is that thing, right? What are you gifted at? What are you passionate about? And everyone's like, I want to find my gift. And like, well, do you know what? The way I look at it, Roger Federer, right? He never knew he was good at playing tennis until he started playing tennis. And only when he started playing tennis really well, then he realized he was really great at that.
Right.
So the answer is that you've got to try a lot of things. And so I always say that, life changes when the pain of staying the same is actually greater than the pain of change, right? Because normally, change is really crazy, but staying the same is okay. It's not as bad as that. But when your pain of staying the same becomes greater than change, that's when you say, do you know what, okay, fine, I got to change. And for me, it happened when my father passed away in 2016. And that was a turning point in my life when my father passed away. When the moments Dad died, Dad had a smile on his face. He was happy to go because he did everything. He did everything he wanted to do. Yeah. And I said to Allah that day that I want to be happy when I die. Like, that was it. Like, if I die today, I would like, no one knows me. Yeah. You know, I haven't helped many people apart from my own family. Like, I've left nothing behind. And that's the day.
So you stumbled upon what you're currently doing now. I didn't, not stumbled upon, but what made you think that, is it, what is it that you do right now? Is it public speaking? What is it that you do?
So what we do is we help people find what they're brilliant at. We help people become brilliant, and then allow them to use that to make a lot of money within their life. What's the course called? How does? So I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Reignite. Reignite. And so Reignite is a place where it's to be able to get you to be brilliant at what you do, and to be able to then help you to be able to start a business or scale your own business, or take you out of where you are and put you into a place where you can then use that to make a lot more money, which you can then use to be able to serve the world in a much better way. Right.
And so how did you know, or what made you go into this specific world? So
So when my father passed away, a few months before that, I lost one of my clinics. So I lost a business. It cost me about £500,000. That was a lot of money for me, and it kind of really, really pushed me down. What got me through that is the fact that I used to run every day, and it helped me clear my mind. Yeah. And so when my father passed away, I heard a story by King Arthur, and what this story said is that, you know, you will, the way you find yourself is when you do the things which are the toughest, the things which you don't want to do. Yeah. So I had a stutter since I was younger. I was never able to speak. I got bullied as a kid when I was at school. I had to
stutter.
Yeah. Okay. So I used to get bullied a lot when I was younger because I couldn't speak. Yeah. So I had to pay my bullies off, and I started selling things then to pay my bullies off, so I don't get beaten up, right? These guys are bigger than me. So everything kind of started back then from the business mind that I had to pay these guys off so that I wouldn't get beaten up, because, you know, when it's younger, right, you just want to blend in with everyone. But I couldn't speak at all. And then I realized my biggest breakthrough would be for me to start speaking. So up till then, I didn't used to speak. And then I put this group of people together, started training them in health, which was what I was great at then. And I started giving them a pump talk every week. And that allowed me to develop my skills as a speaker. People started watching it on Facebook, Instagram. They started inviting me around the world to speak for them. Really? Started working for a lot of companies to speak for them, to sell for them. Yeah. And then that's where the business coaching, which I do right now, that's kind of where everything started. We launched our own business. I'm like, well, if I could do this and scale my business so quickly, what if I can help other people do this? Okay. So then I used my greatest pain to look, other people are having this pain. What if I could help them get to where they want? And that's how the business started.
And a question, literally had a really good question. It was in my head, and then something just happened, and it just went poof, went away. But I guess what I was going to say is, what companies have you kind of helped? Ones that maybe we know, any big companies?
So I've worked with a lot of companies, from big banks in the UK to a lot of banks abroad, tech firms over here. Our latest company was a company valued at about 2.5 billion at the moment. That was a couple of weeks ago. We're working with them right now, helping them to get to 5 billion within this year. Okay. And so we'll very easily do that. So we've got a lot of, so we work with corporates, but also we work with a lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. People who want to, like, they may be in a corporate job, but they want to get out and do something of their own, or they've got their own business right now and they really want to scale that.
Right. So can you share some of the success stories from Reignite? Course or workshop?
So single success stories from taking people, if we look at I look at things where it's impact and financial both, right? Okay. That the way you can have the most amount of impact is, you know, you can have a lot of money to be able to help a lot of people, right? And it's the way that it gets sustained. So we've taken people from 0 to $1 million in about 9 months, starting their own businesses. We've helped corporates we've helped startups who are running at about 500,000, go to about 3 million within a year. Wow. And, you know, one of the latest companies right now is on about 2.5 billion at the moment, and our goal is to get to 5 billion by the end of the year.
Yeah. So you don't care. Sorry, I really want to know that's the success stories, but you don't, I guess, care about the specific vertical or the industry. You're taking a step back, and what can you do to better enhance your performances as work, or is it more sales techniques, or is it how does it work?
So I brand myself as a business performance psychologist, and so for me, businesses 80% mindset, 20% strategy. So it doesn't matter, whatever business you're in, business is business, okay? But there's no way that you can implement that strategy if you haven't got the mindset, number one. So what we do is we get in your mind and we build that new version of you. So I always say that what you want to attract in your life, you've got to become that person first. You have to. You've got to become that person first. So if you want to become a six-figure person, you've got to believe you're a six-figure person first. You've got to genuinely believe, or seven, or whatever it may be. And so our role is to be able to help you perform at that level, so then you can get there. So yeah, the strategy is not very difficult, right? That's 20% of it. We give you that. But it's like when you look at lottery winners, right? Why is that 85% of lottery winners wish they'd never earned that? They didn't earn it, they got it. They wish they never got that money, and they lose all their money. Why? Because their mindset isn't a millionaire before they get to a millionaire.
Wow.
Jim Rohn, who wasn't, a great mentor, what he said is that, if you get £1 million, you better become a millionaire very quickly. And what that is about having that mindset, having that mental performance. So anyone in life, I 100% believe that if you're not where you are, it's because of your mindset.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
So have you ever faced a client or an individual that was willing to change, but was such a difficult task to get him to where he wanted to be? Like, because I know that a lot of people, it is a mindset, but the fear of actually changing and having that willpower to change is the major stumbling block between them achieving their goals. So have you ever faced a client that was so difficult, but you stuck with him until he got to at least close to where he wants to be?
Yeah, great question. I believe everyone wants to get somewhere, but the fear of what that's going to do cripples them. So the point of having a coach, a mentor, someone in life, is someone who's been on that path already, who can set out a way for you and to be able to hold your hand through that journey. So when you look at all the greats, when you look at all the great sportsmen, all the great business people, they all have coaches and mentors. There's not one person you find who doesn't have a coach or a mentor. Why? Because they know that that person can unlock a lot for them, which they could have never seen in themselves. It's like where someone puts a new pair of glasses on you and you start looking at the world in color rather than black and white. So it really opens another world for you. So if someone wants to do something, have we ever not been able to? No, the answer is no. We've always been able to get there, because we'll put them in positions where, like imagine you had to jump off a cliff. How scary that is, right? But your parachute only opens when you jump. But if you're with the trainer who's like, no, now you jump off, you do this, you pull this, it's going to open. You're like, you're still scared, but you'll do it. But on your own, you wouldn't, because what if you don't make it?
So you also provide that I get, not service, but you also
the accountability to make sure that things are followed up. They do the things they say they're going to do, and to put them in positions of how they're going to grow.
If they don't do the things that they say they're going to do,
they wouldn't be with me if they wouldn't, because they pay a lot of money to be here, and they're people who are hungry. They're people who want a lot of change in their life.
They're going to change.
Otherwise you wouldn't. And so we work with
you wouldn't. So you work with select people who are actually hungry for the change. So you won't work with any kind of random person and trying to get them out of their state, although they haven't paid a lot of money for it. So I guess the motivating factor is that I've paid, and therefore I want to make this change, but I need someone to hold my hand to get to there.
I guess it's not a fact of I've paid a lot, it's a fact that I want to do a lot. So like my thing is, what I really look for people in life, people who are hungry. People who want to make a change in this world. People who want to leave the world a better place than how they found it. Now that person will go through anything, I guess Allah says that if you knock against this door 100 times, I'll open it for you. And it's that thing, right? That how many times we can break the wall down, we can get past that, we can.
Interestingly, do you mix religion with your teachings?
A lot.
Oh, you do?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on who's with me.
Yeah.
Okay, because what is Islam all about? It's about be the best person you are, serve humanity in the best way you can, and leave this world a better place than how you found it. And have the best morals and ethics in the process. Earn money in the best way possible, in the most ethical and halal way possible. And no matter what religion it is, those traits, they're
universal.
Yeah, for everyone. Right. And so if it is my thing is what leverage do I get over you? And for example, you being Muslim, I know that there's a certain leverage point I can pull off you than if I was working with a non-Muslim, right? And it would be different. So 100% are you religion.
So look, in the last minute or two, I'd love to know about some of the future aspirations that you have. Of course, not revealing any secrets, but any goals that you can share with the rest of the audience that they may be inspired by.
Our goal, our mission is to touch 1 billion lives. Okay, to be able to make sure that when I die, the business still continues, so it's not all about me, so it's a legacy business.
Okay.
But yeah, we leave the world in a better place than how we found this. That I know that there's a lot of people out there right now who go to work every day not being happy.
Yeah.
They're thinking, is this it?
Yeah.
People who know they would love to be able to have more, do more, give more, and they don't know how to get there. I've been through that journey. I know what it takes,
Yeah.
and it is hard.
Yeah.
And our goal is to be able to help other people, we call it the matrix, right? Or to get out of there, to be able to live a life which they can look back one day and go, wow, I actually made a difference.
Yeah.
I really made a difference. Where your kids can look up to you and go, wow, you know, dad, I want to be like you, or mom, I want to be like you. Or,
Yeah.
you know, that's a beautiful feeling.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. What was that quote that you mentioned in terms of when staying in your current place is the pain of staying in your current place is greater than
The pain of change.
the pain of
Yeah,
change?
when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change.
The pain
That's when
of
you
staying
change.
the same. Dr. Mahmood Mawjee,
Yeah.
it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you so much.
As with Sayyid Jalal and of course all of our guests, the time is so limited, but I'd love to have more time to discuss with you, inshallah, for the viewers to benefit. But thank you very much for coming onto the show.
Thank you very much.
The pain of staying the same
Greater than the pain of change.
is greater than the pain of
Change.
Yeah. So, dear brothers and sisters, I still have to memorize that quote, but essentially what it means that if you're staying the same and you're in your normal lives and you go to work every single day, if that is not painful enough for you to prompt that change, I think that's correct. I'm not sure, but anyway, the viewers got it.
Beautiful, you explained it
The
beautifully.
viewers got it. So we're coming.